before engines, before roads, before the world became small enough to cross in a single day, there was the horse. For thousands of years, this animal carried human beings farther, faster, and deeper into the unknown than our own bodies ever could. Horses pulled our plows. They carried messengers, soldiers, traders, explorers, and children. They helped build farms, connect empires, and transform distant places into part of the same world. But a horse is more than a tool of history. It is a creature of instinct and power, an animal built to run, to listen, to survive. A prey animal with the strength to change civilization. A companion capable of trust, yet never fully stripped of its wildness. This is the story of the horse, from ancient grasslands to modern arenas, from survival to partnership, and from the sound of distant thunder to the quiet bond between two living beings. A horse is not shaped like a hunter. It does not have claws, fangs, or the kind of armor that protects many other animals. Its greatest defense is movement. The horse's body is an extraordinary answer to life on the open plain. Long legs create speed. Powerful lungs deliver oxygen to working muscles. Large eyes, positioned on the sides of the head, give the animal a broad field of view. A horse is always reading its surroundings. The twitch of an ear, a shift in wind, a bird suddenly taking flight, a sound too faint for a human being to notice. In a herd, survival depends on shared awareness. One animal detects danger, and within seconds the entire group can react. A warning becomes motion. Motion becomes escape. That instinct is still present in every domestic horse today. Even the most gentle, stable horse carries the memory of the grassland in its nervous system. The quick glance, the sudden startle, the desire to stay near other horses, the powerful urge to move away from danger. To understand a horse, we first have to understand this simple truth. A horse may live beside people, but it was born from a world where running meant survival. For early humans, horses were first seen from a distance. They were animals of the open country, fast, alert, difficult to approach, and deeply connected to the rhythms of the seasons. At some point in the distant past, the relationship changed. Instead of seeing horses only as part of the landscape, people began to live alongside them, care for them, and eventually travel with them. The exact story of domestication is complex, shaped by many communities over many generations. But its result is undeniable. Human history changed when humans and horses learned to cooperate. This was not an instant transformation. Trust had to be built slowly. A horse is large, sensitive, and easily frightened. It cannot be forced into a true partnership simply by strength. The human being had to learn the horse's language: posture, pressure, rhythm, patience, and release. And the horse, in turn, had to learn that a person could become something other than a threat. That new relationship created a remarkable possibility. A person on foot could travel only as far as their body allowed. A person with a horse could carry more, move faster, and reach places that had once seemed impossibly distant. The horse became a bridge between worlds. Across grasslands, mountains, forests, and deserts, horse cultures emerged. Different people bred horses for different needs: endurance, speed, strength, agility, calmness, or the ability to survive in harsh climates. Some horses became small and sure-footed. Some became tall and powerful. Some were bred for long journeys. Others for quick bursts of speed. But beneath every breed, every color, and every tradition remained the same animal: alert, social, sensitive, and built to move. Once horses entered human society, the pace of history accelerated. They pulled carts loaded with food and supplies. They carried riders across distances that would otherwise take days or weeks on foot. They helped farmers work land, helped merchants move goods, and helped communities remain connected across vast territories. For centuries, the fastest message in the world traveled at the speed of a horse. News of victory, disaster, birth, death, trade, weather, and war often moved from town to town in the hands of riders. A horse could not read the message. It did not know what it carried, but its strength and endurance could determine whether that message arrived in time. Horses also reshaped the way people understood distance. A border that once felt remote could suddenly be reached. A market far beyond the horizon could become part of a trading route. A ruler could extend power over wider lands. Families could migrate into unfamiliar regions. The horse did not create every empire, every road, or every conflict, but it made many of them possible. And there was another side to this story. The horse was not only a vehicle of power, it was also a laborer. For generations, working horses pulled plows through heavy soil, hauled timber from forests, carried water, moved coal, and transported families through streets and countryside alike. Before the roar of the machine, there was the steady rhythm of harness and hoof. To many people, a horse was not a symbol from a painting or a figure from a storybook. It was a member of the household economy, a partner whose health, strength, and temperament could shape a family's future. The history of horses is therefore not only the history of kings, generals, and famous writers. It is also the history of ordinary people waking before dawn, feeding an animal, checking its legs, mending a harness, and trusting that together they could get through another day. Few animals have been so closely connected to human conflict as the horse. For centuries, mounted riders could change the shape of a battlefield. A cavalry charge carried speed, force, and fear. Horses moved scouts through difficult terrain, hauled equipment, pulled ambulances, and carried supplies where vehicles could not go. In stories of war, horses are often remembered as symbols of bravery and glory. But the real story is more complicated. Horses did not choose human battles. They followed the people who trained them, fed them, and depended on them. They brought courage to those who rode them, but they also shared the risks of every journey. As technology changed, the role of the horse in warfare gradually declined. Engines became faster. Machines could carry heavier loads. New weapons changed the nature of combat. Yet the emotional image of horse and rider never disappeared. Perhaps it remains powerful because it shows a relationship built on vulnerability. A rider depends on the horse's balance, intelligence, and willingness. The horse depends on the rider's judgment, care, and restraint. In the best version of that partnership, neither dominates the other completely. Each must respond to the other in a moment of uncertainty. That is not only true in war. It is true in every human-horse relationship. Trust can be built over years and damaged in a single careless moment. Horses do not speak with words, but they're always communicating. Their ears reveal attention. Their eyes show alertness. Their posture can tell us whether they are relaxed, curious, uncertain, or afraid. A horse may speak through the smallest movement, a head lifting toward a sound, a tail swishing in irritation, a step away from pressure, a soft breath into a familiar hand. Learning this language is one of the first responsibilities of anyone who works with horses. Because horses are powerful, people sometimes mistake control for understanding. But a horse responds best not simply to force. It responds to clarity. A skilled rider or handler learns to be consistent, to ask rather than demand, to notice tension before it becomes panic, to reward calmness, to make the right choice easier for the horse to understand. This is why horse care is so much more than riding. It is early mornings and clean water. It is good footing, proper nutrition, patient training, veterinary care, rest, companionship, and attention to the details that cannot be ignored. Horses are herd animals. Isolation can be deeply stressful for them. Movement is essential. Routine brings security. And because they're sensitive to their environment, they often react to changes long before people do. For many horse owners, the most meaningful moments are not dramatic competitions or fast rides. They are quiet moments. A horse choosing to walk toward a person in an open field. A nervous animal relaxing after patient care. The sound of breathing, slowing down together. In those moments, the horse is no longer an image from history. It is a living individual with preferences, fears, habits, and a presence that demands our full attention. Today, The horse no longer carries civilization in the same way it once did. Cars replaced carriages. Tractors replaced many working teams. Airplanes and digital communication made the world faster than any rider could have imagined. And yet, horses remain. They remain in sport, in culture, in ceremony, in agriculture, in education, and in therapy. They are found in arenas where precision and athleticism are celebrated, on ranches where practical skill still matters, on trails where riders search for a slower connection to the land. For some people, horses are competitors. For others, they are teachers. In therapeutic settings, horses can help people build confidence, develop balance, practice communication, and reconnect with a sense of presence. In sanctuaries, older or rescued horses remind us that partnership includes responsibility, not only when an animal is useful or successful, but throughout its life. The modern horse occupies an unusual place. It is no longer necessary for most people to survive. Yet for millions, it remains deeply important. Maybe that is because horses offer something increasingly rare. They ask us to slow down. They cannot be rushed by a screen, convinced by a speech, or understood through a shortcut. They ask for attention in real time. A horse knows whether a person is tense. It notices hesitation. It responds to energy, posture, and patience. In a world full of noise, horses pull us back into the physical present. The horse has given human beings an extraordinary amount. It has given us speed before engines, strength before machines, connection before communication networks, labor before industrial power. It has carried us into stories, songs, paintings, myths, and memories. But admiration is not enough. If we choose to keep horses in our lives, then we also accept a responsibility to understand them, to respect their needs as animals, to protect their welfare, to recognize that beauty, athletic ability, tradition, and entertainment should never matter more than humane care. A horse is not a machine. It is not a decoration. It is not a piece of history preserved for our convenience. It is a living creature shaped by thousands of years of evolution and thousands more of partnership with people. The future of the horse depends on the choices humans make now. Will we value patience over spectacle, care over convenience, knowledge over assumption? The answer will determine what this ancient relationship becomes in the years ahead. The horse helped carry humanity into the modern world. And even now, in an age of machines, it carries something we have not outgrown. When a horse runs, it does not run for history. It runs because movement is written into its body. And perhaps that is why we continue to watch in awe. Because somewhere in the sound of hoofbeats, we hear an older world calling to us. A world where the horizon was not a limit, but an invitation. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more stories about animals, history, and the natural world.